let's break down the overhead front strike. This is a strike in which we're coming overhead clearly in front of our body and striking slightly at a diagonal angle. It's not directly down and overhead, for example. It's a little bit more angled, quite similar to our combat #1 angle strike. But since this is our traditional technique we're going to use in kata, we need to learn our proper preparation and delivery and end points. This is very much like whenever you're doing a down block or an upper block or a pseudo block in a traditional art such as karate or taekwondo. We have a preparation before the actual block or strike. These preparations are useful actually. What these preparations do is they teach us how to line up our body correctly and deliver the right power, the right momentum for the right areas of our body. If we're in a real combat situation or a fighting situation, we wouldn't do the preparation, but by using that preparation in our training and our kata practice over and over again, we deliver with the most power and the right precision. So it's like having a set of training wheels. And we're going to use the same concept with our overhead front strike. Let's go ahead and start in our ready position, or really just a relaxed stance would be better for now. In our relaxed stance, what we're going to do, I'm holding bow in thirds, my right hand is up, left hand is down, I've got a right hand dominant position. We can do the strike on either side, of course. Let's go ahead and practice it with right hand dominant first. Let's go ahead and take our bow by taking the left hand and pointing what will now, in this position, be the tip of the bow, towards our opponent. So our opponent's directly in front of us, we're pointing it there. We're pretty much resting the bow on our shoulder. So we're here. This is going to be the first step in our preparation. Bow comes up, pointing just about straight on, parallel to the ground, to our opponent, pretty much resting on our shoulder. What we're going to do next is actually do a little half step. This little half step out with our right leg. And what this does is it prepares us to step out deeper and to rotate our hips and to rotate our whole body into it, so we can practice in between. Step 1, bow on the shoulder. Step 2, half step, right foot out, maybe a foot and a half length away from your other foot. Our final step is going to be stepping all the way out into our front stance, rotating a little bit, and of course delivering the strike. When we do this, we're actually going to be pulling our left hand back to our hip and pushing the bow out and taking it out and down. Striking with the tip, sort of a downward angle, maybe hitting towards the neck, the shoulder, depending on where you're striking at. We're actually going to finish more about chest level, though, is our finish point. So taking a look here, step 1, over the shoulder. Step 2, half step. Step 3, complete step as I pull my left hand back. Be very careful to notice this. Watch my left hand. Prepare, step out, full strike. I actually ease up off the grip and slide it down a little bit right next to my belt. I'm not going to keep it firm or else I would end here. Notice the difference of this. I'm still in thirds. No, we don't want to do that. As we're striking, we're pulling left hand down very slightly, very relaxed. At the final end point of our overhead front strike, it ends at our hip. Another important detail is what happens with our striking hand. We actually rotate the hand and we push out with our wrist strength at the very end of the strike. We're getting even more power behind our strike now. Rather than just going here and hitting with blunt force, we're actually preparing, stepping, hitting, pulling downward, and also rotating that front wrist, turning the hand over. And we don't strike too high. We finish it a little bit more about chest level. Notice the diagonal in the bow. Okay, if I finish too low or too high, or I didn't bring my hand back to my hip, it's just not going to look correct. Let's go through the steps together. Prepare on the shoulder. Half step, full rotation, striking. Great way to understand this is go ahead and stay in your full front stance and you have the bow over your shoulder. From here, let's just rotate and practice pulling the hand back and striking out. As you do this, kind of pop your chest and pull back a little bit. Your right chest is actually going to be pushing forward more. And you're kind of bowing back your back. You're keeping it straight. So from here, you pull it back, bow back a little bit. And what we're doing is creating a push-pull motion here. As we pull our left arm back, we're creating a lever and making our right arm even more powerful. So rather than just using the power of one arm and that's it to strike with, we're actually levering with our other arm and rotating our hand. We're doing everything we can to make this strike as powerful as possible, as precise as possible on the target. Let's begin. Prepare, half step, full rotation. Full rotation of the hips, popping the chest out, pulling the hand back, pushing the hand out, striking as we finish. Now, let's go ahead and take this strike step by step. Just are some final details here. When I say step by step, I really want you guys to go ahead and follow along at home with me so we can learn this correctly. Start in a relaxed stance. First step, in the preparation on the shoulder, that's step 1. Step 2, little half step. Step 3, full step, rotating, striking down, pulling back to the hip, rotating the hand. Let's do it all the way through. Ready, step 1, step 2, step 3. Now what we're going to do is actually switch hands just so we understand we can practice on the other side as well. Now that you understand that side quite well. Switch hands by rotating, remember slide the hand, flip it over right there. Now we're in the other palm is up, other palm is down, same stance and everything. We're going to be doing it on the other side now. Step 1, preparation point. Step 2, half step. Step 3, striking down. Same exact important points, pulling the hand back, rotating the wrist as you strike. It's going to feel a little bit awkward on your other side, especially if you haven't done much with your left hand or vice versa. Here, we're doing a left hand dominant overhead front strike on the shoulder. Step 2, half step. Step 3, striking downward, rotation, pop the chest out, right there. Very nice. That is the overhead front strike. Now we're going to do a drill for the overhead front strike. These drills are designed to get more repetition and to work on different skills in our bow training rather than just doing the techniques over and over again. Sometimes we want to work on footwork and speed and other variations. This drill, since it is one of our first ones, is going to be very basic though. We're going to practice overhead front strike 3 times at half speed on the right side, 3 times at half speed on the left side, and then 3 times at normal speed on the right side, 3 times at normal speed on the left side, and we will be done. These drills are designed for you to do along with me at home. When you press play on this segment, make sure you have your staff or something like it, maybe a Joe, maybe a scream stick, something that you can actually do these techniques even if you're in a very small room along with me. Okay, let's get started with the drill. Just begin in our relaxed stance. Okay, ready? And we're going to begin with the 3 half speed on the right side. Switch sides. Switch sides, 3 at normal speed on the right side. Switch sides. And finish. Very nice.